Okay, my Married at First Sight Australia fans, yes, we got yet another episode to talk about, and yeah, we got another commitment ceremony. First, we have one groom show up solo without their bride, another groom drop a bombshell on their wife, and then we have one couple leaving the experiment. Welcome back to Romance Review TV. It's Lady T. I got another recap for you guys. Married at First Sight Australia Season 10, Episode number 17. We got to prepare for this turbulence. And without any further ado, let's talk about this episode. So there is no doubt that there's been one hot topic this week, and that's this whole fiasco with Adam and Claire and that kiss. That whole kissing, cheating scandal has left more than a few relationships pretty much shattered, and the experts are hoping to unpack all of that in this episode. We also have two new couples in the mix as we enter this third commitment ceremony, and I tell you, it's got to be one of the most intense ones we've seen so far. So let's get these two out the way, Janelle and Adam. So these two take the couch. They sit so far apart, they might as well be in separate zip codes. And of course, that only gives us a prelude of what's to come. Now, of course, the only thing the experts or anyone else want to talk about is Adam cheating on Janelle. Now, Janelle says that Adam's lack of accountability was shocking. And in response, Adam claimed he only kissed Claire because they were vibing. It wasn't premeditated or anything like that. However, of course, to Cam's dismay, not staying in her lane, Lyndall decides that she believed otherwise and drops the bombshell saying that she heard that he made comments and then you hit on somebody when you were leaving the bar, and how there were so many points to that night where you were being flirty and putting the feelers out, according to her. Now, this one is interesting, where we see Sandy adds that the difference between Adam and Claire handling the situation is that they could see the weight and remorse on Claire's face, while Adam has none. Now, of course, as you guys remember, there were leaked text messages and from her journal where she knew about this and did not say anything because she had been in communication with Adam. So are you taking accountability for your part in this? Probably not. Then we see Adam tries to explain himself through all of this. However, expert John Aiken call it all excuses.
Whatever it was happened in that one moment. There was nothing more to it. There was nothing more at all to it. I'm beating myself up about this because I feel so terrible about it. This is not something that I do. This is not a part of who I am.
All right, I think we've heard everything we need to hear from you. And Adam, the message is very clear that you're not owning. You say the words, I'm sorry, but you don't understand it. When you cheated, Janelle, you made a choice. When Jesse thought that you'd done something behind his back, you reared up, got combative, and got in his face by choice. When you were called out about the relationship, you chose, again, to call it phony. You chose to be flirty. You chose to drink that night. My point is this: bad choices you're making. Nobody else is doing it, you are. Until you own that, you're going to repeat these mistakes.
Fair enough.
And the only person that you should have cared about in this experiment is Janelle. Because I don't care whether you were getting along or not. There's plenty of people in this over 8 weeks that don't get along. They don't go and kiss another. That's your choice. And what everyone is telling you is you don't walk the walk.
Yeah.
You say, I'm sorry, but then you get angry, defensive, and you blame. Don't do that.
Now, it's interesting that he say it was just that one time, but if you've been following my channel and the videos that I've been posting this season where he did that candid interview, and I'll link that in this video, he did say that there were more opportunities for them two to get together. Now, he claimed he did lean into it a little bit as Claire continued to pursue him, according to him. And you can go check that out. I won't go into too far detail about that. However, there is left one thing to do, is to reveal their decisions, and Janelle writes leave, and Adam does the decent thing and also decide to leave. So next up is Alyssa and Duncan. Now, Duncan says that they've had a really good relationship up until this week, though. Now, those words alone are enough to make Alyssa, who's very fragile at this point, upset. She starts crying. We hear all of the dramatic music building up in the background as Alyssa finally reveals the horrible thing that Duncan has done and brought her to these tears. She says that it's tough for her because she don't understand how he could be in contact with Adam, and she's sobbing about it. Alyssa, is that it? I mean, I don't even think Janelle cried as much as she did in this moment, but I guess to each their own. And she said that it's very triggering to her. Now, on the flip side, Duncan says, look, I'm not condoning anything Adam did, his behavior, but he didn't feel the need to completely cut off a friend just because he made a bad decision. And he says that her strong reaction doesn't change how he feels about Alyssa, but it's just a hiccup. And, of course, the experts agree that there's a difference of opinion is something that they can actually work through. And the interesting thing I say about that, because if a girl in the experiment, I've seen it from all seasons, different shows, they'll say, girl, you just made a mistake. It's okay. You'll get through it. But it's not okay for usually the guys to make a mistake, and they should be banished. And that's pretty much what Adam is saying. We're not perfect. He made a mistake. That don't mean I should banish him forever. So hopefully they can work through this. However, despite all of the tears, Alyssa and Duncan kiss, make up, and decide to stay. So let's talk about the two CEOs. This power couple have set a new record for the longest amount of days passed without arguing, 4 to be exact, which they say is good for the two of them. Melinda admits she can't see her life without Layton and could barely be without him while he's even going to the bathroom. Layton says that he's falling for Melinda, and the two of them want to break their record for days without arguing, so they both decide to stay in the experiment. We have another love bubble going on, and that is Tawny and Ollie, and there's no burst in that bubble at all. Now, Ollie admits that he didn't expect his strong feelings to come so soon, while Tawny says that it feels different to anything that she's ever experienced. And these two little cute lovebirds reveal that they're already starting to talk about a future outside of the experiment. And Lyndall called them disgustingly wholesome. And listen, we can't agree more. And if you follow me on TikTok, I posted them that they're still together. And actually, they were traveling and things like that. So go over to my TikTok, Romance Review TV 1, and you can see all of the other candid things too. Next up is Harrison and just Harrison. So Bronte is feeling unwell. She's unable to make it to the commitment ceremony, and in her absence, it took a toll on Harrison, so much so that he describes it, and he was really touched and emotional about it.
Flying solo tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately, Bronte couldn't be here. She goes through a lot more at that time of the month. I'm not a voice for endometriosis or a woman's biological functions, but she's in a lot of pain and gets very emotional and crying. Sorry. It's just really hard out. I'm gonna to try and get through this as best I can. I'm a guy, I don't know what Bronte actually goes through. So I've just got to be supportive and just do whatever I can.
Okay, well, I'm not getting a sense that you're being... Stay or leave. What's it going to be?
Well, I wrote stay.
Okay, good.
She wrote stay.
Wonderful.
Excelente.
So I also want to bring attention to what you see in the split screen. He did a post on social media saying that the emotion and pain that he was expressing, even though they're painting him as the silly villain in this episode, he said that it was actually true feelings. And I've seen women with endometriosis. I've never had it myself. It is debilitating. It is extremely painful. Sometimes they can't get out of bed for days. And for somebody who maybe isn't close or have seen anything like that, I can understand Harrison possibly going through that, especially being a man who himself never experienced that, or maybe never had other women around him that has gone through endometriosis. Yeah, so I like to put stuff out there to give extra content. That's what we do on this channel, so we can get an objective and balanced view. But I also wanted to update you guys on this. Ultimately, they decided to stay. So these two are actually growing on me. I mean, they're making strides, and that is none other than Evelyn and Rupert. Now, we know that their wedding was extremely awkward, especially with Rupert being very uncomfortable. Well, that's no exception here at the commitment ceremony, when the experts noticed that Rupert doesn't look very comfortable next to Evelyn. And when they asked Rupert why, his answer is a collection of ums, ahs, and I don't knows.
Yeah. How's it going?
I'm sweating a little bit.
Rupert, look comfortable next to her.
Right. No, I'm definitely I'm comfortable with it. Like, I will say that.
It doesn't show.
Right. What do I need to do to show it? Do I need to hold her leg or something like that? Like, I don't...
Well, that didn't look great either.
So Rupert says that he just needs some reassurance, and when Evelyn reveals that she is attracted to Rupert, he celebrates with a gentle fist shake. Yeah, it's like jumping off the couch for him, but we know how nervous and reserved he is. However, the two of them are both ready to throw themselves in, and they decide to stay. So now we got to prepare for a little bit of turbulence with Sandy and Dan. And even Dan says that they've had a little bit of turbulence this week. Sandy recounts an argument that they had over Dan going out by himself for hours. She said he even spent 6 hours at the gym one day. However, Dan, he didn't see anything wrong with that.
We had an argument. Dan had been out, and I was just getting in my head, like, where is he? Why is he out? I haven't heard from him.
I get up really early in the mornings. I go for a run. I go to the gym. It's my active time.
You are gone a lot.
I'm out every morning. Yeah, absolutely. I'm at the gym. I'm going for a run.
For 6 hours. Okay.
What's wrong with that?
That's what I'm saying. The experiment is 10 weeks. We're meant to be maximising our time together, doing things together to build the relationship. That's why we're here.
But, I am missing the sun, sand, and the surf, and the beach, sunrises, and all that kind of stuff, and I'm trying to make compromises where I can to at least fill a very important part of my life.
How do you think you've compromised in this relationship when you're going exercising, for instance, for 6 hours a day?
No, not 6 hours a day. That was, I went out one day for that 6 hours. Sandy's got the same opportunity to spend that time that Sandy has to do what she wants or wants to do. And
But I mean, I don't want to go out by myself and just do things by myself. I want to do things with you.
Why aren't you going out? Why aren't you not hanging out together? Doesn't seem to be much intimacy in this relationship. You look like you're just friends hanging on in there. If that.
Yep.
What I need to know from you is, are you sexually attracted to Adele?
Right now, no.
So with Dan saying that there is no sexual chemistry there yet, yeah, that's a tough pill for Sandy to swallow. However, despite that hurdle, they both write stay, and it looks like that there'll be a lot of work for these two to do in the week ahead. So next up is Taylor and Hugo. Now, Taylor kicked the conversation off by voicing one of her biggest pet peeves about Hugo. She's struggling with all of the compliments that Hugo is constantly giving her. And she, of course, confused the experts. I'm confused as well. Even Mel says, look, that doesn't compute. Taylor went on to explain that she doesn't like being called adorable and cute and wants to be called smart, quick, and driven. Now, Mel came back and said, well, what if I told you that he only known you for a few days and he hadn't had time to figure out those qualities yet? However, that didn't compute in Taylor's head. Mel kicks things up a notch by asking Taylor if she's attracted to Hugo. Taylor says this: my type was definitely football guys and typical tradies, and that is a little bit different to Hugo. It's pretty much a polite way of saying no, she's not attracted to this guy. Mel reminds Taylor that Married at First Sight isn't a made-to-order groom. We give you what you need, not what you want. She tried to be more optimistic, having only been an experiment for a week, and the two of them decide to write stay. So for Lyndall and Cam, they really had ups and down roller coaster week. And it all started while they were on a FaceTime call with Lyndall's mom, who encouraged Cam to give her daughter a hug. And apparently that didn't go down well, as Cam felt uncomfortable and left the conversation because he felt that it was unnatural to be forced to hug somebody.
Lyndall, your body language, the way that you're presenting yourself tonight is quite telling.
What's going on?
It's been one roller coaster for us.
So my mum, God bless her, she knows that when I'm having a really rough time, that I just want a hug and for someone to tell me that it's going to be okay. And she knows that I'm away from my whole support network here. And I think she just said, oh, come on, a hug. And he didn't want to, and then she said, oh, come on, like, she needs a hug, look at her, she needs a hug. And Cam was like, no, I feel uncomfortable, and kind of got up and left.
We were ropeable, we had a massive blow up. I know it was a hug. All it was a hug. I could have just hugged, but I pressured, and I felt it was unnatural.
Lyndall, do you feel like Cam over?
I would never want to make anyone do anything that they were uncomfortable with.
I felt uncomfortable, I felt awkward. It was really weird. I found that weird.
Hugging me feel unnatural, not a month in here, not a month into
It
this.
was just
It should
weird
not
when your
feel
mum was there
unnatural.
and your mum's pressuring me to do something.
Like, am I that awful and repulsive that you don't even want to hug me when I'm upset? Like, it just made me like...
It wasn't that, I just felt pressured.
Like, it
I was
made
pressured.
me snap.
It was
that
unnatural.
the one thing...
Ultimately, Cam says that he should have just pulled his head out of his butt and just hugged her. But having never been in a relationship, he's trying to overcome his struggles with affection. Cam puts his money where his mouth is straight away and gives Linda a big old kiss on the couch. And of course, they decided to stay. And finally, Claire and Jesse. Now, Jesse is looking defeated after what has been a pretty crazy week for him. But he hashes out the cheating scandal with the experts one more time.
Why did it hurt so much?
Oh man, just like, you know, you just question worthy.
Worthy of what?
Oh, love in general, you know. I've been single 7 years. I haven't had relationships really ever. Like, just reaffirming a lot of things in there. Yeah.
When you hear Jesse talk about, you know, the impact of the cheating on him, and he gets you to step into his shoes, what impact does that have on you?
Breaks my heart that he feels. And I've brought out these feelings in him and that I've made it worse. And I'm really, really sorry. He's sitting here feeling all his feels, but he's worried about me feeling hurt. And that is massive. That just shows how selfless he is. You know, I'm disappointed in myself for doing that to him.
Even after everything, Claire decides to stay to try to earn back Jesse's trust, but says that she doesn't want to force him to stay. Now, Jesse is not sure whether he has the same amount of steam as Claire has to ride out the experiment for one more week. However, the experts encourage Jesse to open himself up to what the next 7 days will bring. Okay, so let's get the conversation started down in the comment section. What did you think about Harrison and his emotions regarding his wife, Bronte? What do you think about some of the other issues with our couples? Of course, we lost Janelle and Adam. He walked out. And then, do you think that Jesse and Claire can bounce back in their relationship? So I hope you enjoyed this recap. Stay tuned for other recaps on this channel. And until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you in the next one. Bye.